And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock Cod Rick Maxa.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the Marty 1090 studios with the captains of the Independents, Captains Mark Pisano, Paul Strasser, and Jeff DuBois. Hey, we're going to have a great show talking independent sport fishing and 22nd Street Landing in L.A. You stay tuned. Southern California's sport fishing voices. Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. The offshore fishing last year was some of the best we've seen in years. Let's hope our luck keeps up in 2015. It's a brand new year, and what better way to kick off a new year than with a new Ford? Once again, Ford is America's favorite brand. Just take a look at last year's sales figures. It's right there in black and white. It's easy to see why Ford is so popular. Styling is contemporary, the technology is state-of-the-art, and the fuel economy is more impressive than ever. Fusion, Focus, and Escape continue to be San Diego favorites, and the new Mustang has the entire city buzzing. You've got to check it out. Right now, you'll find the biggest savings on F-150 pickups. The last of the 2014 models are going fast. And talk about popular, Ford F-Series has been America's best-selling truck and a favorite among fishermen for almost 4 decades. In fact, a new F-Series truck is sold every 43 seconds. Imagine catching a fish every 43 seconds. You'd be popular, too. Start the new year in style. Stop by your San Diego County Ford dealer. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Information is the key to success, and inside information is even better. When it comes to fishing, inside information is critical, and that's what FishDope.com delivers. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and save fuel. FishDope.com is the only SST service with a satellite oceanographic PhD on board. The only fish finding service with a spotter plane. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Martin Island, 365 days a year. FishDope.com boasts the largest code group anywhere, covering sport boats, commercial boats, and private boaters. FishDope.com has online planning tools, moon phase, tides, hot bite icons, and more. What I'm telling you is, if you don't have FishDope.com, well, good luck. Membership costs less than 40 gallons of gas for the entire year. That's right, 1 year. What a bargain. Plus, stay tuned for the special code to save $20 on a FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel. The new Shimano Torium HG is here, and you'll be able to experience this fantastic reel at the Fred Hall shows. The new Torium is up to 30% smaller than the previous generation, but still has the same line capacity. The smaller S compact body design and one-piece die-cast aluminum frame provides more rigidity and lighter weight. Torium now has EI surface treatment and has tested up to 700 times the corrosion resistance of past models. The new Shimano Torium HG is not only better on the outside, the inside is amazing with a cross-carbon drag, providing up to 24 pounds of drag pressure from a star drag reel. It has a sealed roller clutch and 6.2-to-1 brass gears. The machined aluminum handle has a larger knob to make it easier to crank into big fish. The new lightweight aluminum spool gives you better casting and control. Available in 3 sizes, the Torium HG is the next evolution in a compact, rigid, and powerful saltwater star drag reels. Get it at the Fred Hall Show and your local Shimano dealers.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Great group of guys in the studio here. The entire captain fleet of the Independent.
This was a lucky week.
Yeah, no kidding. Boats in town, so we have Captains Mark Pisano, Paul Strasser, and Jeff DuBois. Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up, boys?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you in the studio here. And how are we so lucky that we have all 3 of you here? The boat's obviously not out to sea, right?
We hope not.
We hope not.
Yeah, exactly. It's the time of year we're doing maintenance and getting the boat ready for the season. So
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And you guys are getting prepped for Fred Hall.
It's close,
yeah,
man. It's close.
Yeah. 3 weeks from today, we'll be inside at the Long Beach Convention Center. You guys will have the boat up there this year.
Right, yeah, the boat will be back in at the Fred Hall show. So
okay.
we're going to be giving away a couple Abbott reels. If you do go on the boat, put a little ticket in the
Sweet.
That's
a
right.
little raffle. Give you a little incentive to go check out our boat, and we'll be right up front row.
Yeah. So basically, across the street, you go past the Hyatt, cross the bridge,
And right down
and
the
then
little
right
walkway.
down the walkway, and you can go aboard. You'll have basically an open house.
Yes.
All 5 days.
Yes, all
Wow.
5 days.
All right, that's going to be fantastic. And you can meet the captains, meet the crew, right?
Yeah.
See the boat.
Yep.
People are pretty impressed when they get on the boat.
Yeah, a lot of, remember now, our fleet, being the long-range fleet, is rarely at the dock to where people can walk on and see what an actual long-range boat is all about.
It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen too often. So when they actually get on, especially the Independence, and see what we're all about, their eyes open up wide.
Yeah,
It's
such
fun.
a beautiful vessel, and the staterooms super comfortable. The galley, everything about the boat is big. That's what's so great about it. And then you get on the fishing area, wide areas go fishing, right?
Yeah. The bait tank, the slammers, your fish capacity. They can actually see with the long-range fleet, how we do our thing,
You guys
Cool.
built the boat, so it's done correctly.
Yeah, we built the boat, me and Mark, and took a couple, 2.5 years. We talked about this a lot throughout the years, and
You had about 20 guys also.
yeah.
20 guys. I was going to say, just the two of you?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
20
Oh,
guys.
we had a great team of guys.
That's
you
awesome.
know, that
You
put
have
the boat
to.
together.
It's funny, at the very end of the boat, after when we put it in the water, we finally got a good crew, good bunch of welders and fabricators. Because we had to go through it like on a sport fishing boat. It takes a little momentum. You weed out the bad ones, and by the time we're done, we're ready to build another boat. Not us mentally or personally, but we had a good crew that we could actually just step right on and kept going.
That's cool.
Keep on rolling.
Yeah, I'll add that mentally thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And financially.
Yeah, I was going to say, building a boat is not an easy
boy.
task.
And
is it?
and you'll notice when people, and we see this all the time, when they walk on the boat, never been on the boat, they go, people, whoever built this had sport fishing in mind, because there's a lot of little things on the boat we did to it
Oh, yeah.
that
cool.
only a guy that fishes would understand.
I remember when Jeff showed up there at Wilmington with Rick Ofinger. Remember that? We had the boat there and the bow sticking over the street, and you're like,
Yeah. Pull up
I'll
that
never-
mic towards you there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. I was up visiting my buddy Rick Effinger, and I was running the Red Rooster then, and he says, "Hey, let's go check out this boat they're building." So we pulled up, and I was amazed. There was a giant hole with the nose and the tail cut off, and we went up and walked around. It was probably like July, 110 degrees in Wilmington. I'm walking around the boat, and I was simply amazed. And unbeknownst to myself or anybody else, 2 years later, here I am. We're driving out of the harbor, driving that boat.
How long have you been driving the Independence?
Since day one. Mark, Paul, and I ran the first trip on there from day one, and
Yeah.
I've been there ever since.
And you've been on, I've fished on several boats with you, and you've been in the long range fleet, and it's quite a vessel, right? It's a spoiler.
It is, having run a couple of 105 footers, and it's definitely the best vessel I've ever been in command of. Like I said, a lot of thought went into it, and very comfortable, and it was built in mind for the fishermen.
That's cool.
Purpose-built to do exactly what it's doing.
How did you guys? Okay, you've been in obviously, Mark and Paul. You guys have been partners for how many years?
since 1984.
Wow,
That's right.
1984, and of course involved with 22nd Street Landing, and you had the Islander for many years.
Yeah.
Well, we started on the first string
The
with
first
Russ
string.
Iser. You know, our first year there was 84.
Yeah.
And
we built that boat in '83, and then it
Yeah.
took, yeah.
So were you partners with Russ Ayers?
we actually owned a small percentage each of us of the boat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
the
cool.
legendary Russ. And then you obtained the first string, and then was the Islander next after that?
It went first string, And then it went Monte Carlo in 88. Then it went 1990 Islander.
90, 91. No, wait. I got to think about it.
Yeah. And then it went
91 was our first year with the Islander, which was the Point Loma.
Wow.
The reason I remember that because 91 was one of the poorest years on record for fishing. If you ever look back through the historic fish counts, 91 was horrible. But 92 was an El Nino.
Yeah,
and I remember we
93.
had great bluefin fishing on Cortez. That stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that stands out, 84, we started running the first string.
Right, yeah.
We had big albacore in the channel with those, 60 to 75 pound albacore.
Yeah.
So cool.
8 to 12 miles from the Pedro Light for a month, a whole month in November.
No way.
in France.
8 to 12 miles from the Pedro Lake.
Yeah, and sometimes 15.
Oh,
but
wow.
You had to really make the run.
That's when you had to make the long run.
Yeah. And there are those different fish. It wasn't no jig striking going on. There was no really eyeball fishing. It was you mark a school of anchovy, you stop, you drive. We had 80, 90 people every day on that first string fishing stuff. Our first day, I think it was our first day fishing, Fran Kennedy had ladies world record, 76 pounder on 20 pound test.
Oh.
So that was a big wake up call.
Is it ever going to happen again? I mean, what caused that? What was it? Was something happen in the channel there that just was?
It's all about
right?
conditions being perfect.
Yeah.
Like right now we're discussing earlier how the conditions now are just really. We're going to have one heck of a sport fishing season the next couple of
Well,
years.
besides those big albacore, there was big eye around and bigger yellowfin around. There was guys that had stops. We never personally had one, but I know the Sport King was like a mile from us one day and had 120 to 200 pound big eye. They just basically got stopped. Everybody got smoked, So they pulled out of them because they were looking for albacore. Everybody re-spooled up and they got on a school albacore.
That's so rad.
I've been listening to the show, like you do every weekend, and this is going to be a barn. We're going to sport fishing for the next year or 2-3 years is going to be really good. This warm water influx came up our coast. We have yellowtail we're talking up in the short banks on the Horseshoe Kelp, La Jolla, deep water yo-yo jig fishing. I mean, things are going to be Cortez Bank catching bluefin still right now. It's
well, Mark was looking at the water charts down below, right? I mean, just unprecedented water temperatures down there, right?
Yeah, we were just looking at a few minutes ago. 72 degrees on the ridge. The rocks are still in the 70s. Our early trips are going to be, I think, really good this year.
Those spring trips.
Yep.
Spring trips. So we got a few openings on them, and I think it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's going to be good.
Katie bar the door.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to go crazy and tell you it's going to be best ever. It's going to be good, though.
I mean, if I was a person who hasn't been fishing in a few years, get the tackle out. Go to the Fred Hall show, buy some new stuff, 2-speed reels. We got
book a trip.
Book a trip, and we're going to have a few shorter trips. Keep an eye on our website because we're going to probably throw a few shorter trips together.
Okay.
In May.
Good.
So keep an eye on that.
You mentioned the spring trips, which traditionally are the prices right on those trips and availability because things can happen or or it can be kind of an okay trip. This year, I cannot imagine, Captain Jeff, that it's not going to be possibly the best part of the year.
It could be, Pete. It could well be Pete. We were just looking at the water charts there. You know what? I've been pretty lucky. We've been having great spring trips. Probably about the last, 8-9 years. We've only had like one bummer trip, and it was blowing like 30 knots. We still had great yellowtail fishing, but all in all, the springtime in recent years has been a very, very good time to go down and try.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some tuna back at the rocks here. They've been absent for about 3 years now.
Wahoo.
And, I think that wahoo. It looks like they might just be hanging around. The water's still there and plenty of grub there for them. So
yeah.
I would say look for another banner spring. I mean, it looks like the summer hadn't even stopped. It's just going right along.
It kind of is. Even the whatever you call what we had a few days ago, the storm kind of, but not really. It blew offshore and it was kind of windy, but then it never was cold and nothing rolled over. You talk to the urchin divers. We talked to a guy when we were putting the boat on the trail the other day, and he was commenting about the same thing about how this is February. It should be freezing on the bottom, and they say that the change in water temperature from the surface to 80 feet is just minimal, if any, and it's right. I mean, it's 80 degrees yesterday.
You know, Rick, that's the main sign of an El Nino. Your thermocline becomes thick or deep, and that's what keeps fish around. When you have a very thin, surface layer of warm water, a little bit of wind on it or swell knocks it down. We've all seen that where we, go out and we have a good day of fishing, then we go back out and everything rolls over. Well, when you do have a real El Nino and you have a big thermocline, you tend to have more consistent water temperatures. And that, to me, is the telltale sign we're going to have a good year, another good year.
Get a false sense of water temperature when there's hot sun beating on it all day and it's 70 degrees, but it doesn't mean anything if 10 feet below that it's in the low 60s.
Yeah. And you don't get the rollover. Like for instance, what just happened out of Cortez Bank. It blew like heck, and the fish are still biting.
Yeah, right.
You don't have that huge rollover that does happen. So like Mark was saying, that deep thermocline means a lot.
Yeah. And what about Catalina Island right now? My gosh, here we are in February, and it's just on fire, huh?
Yeah, they're still biting there, too.
Yeah.
Like I say, a lot of our boats... Go ahead.
Well, I just wonder, I haven't heard any reports on Catalina, although we were talking to one of the lobster fishermen. He said that when they were pulling their traps and the some of the bait was getting out of the trap, he said there was yellows just swimming around like eating the chunks. And both there in Santa Barbara Islands loaded too with yellowtail. So
it's and now 22nd Street Landing, you guys are involved with 22nd Street also, and kind of built that whole place really.
It was always there,
yeah,
and we so happened to be there at the right time to get a part of the action.
And you took it to the next level.
Right. We, as you know, the docks were old, and we finally got approval at the port, and we built new docks. Now we have 27 slips.
Wow.
And it's nicer now. Yeah. In a beautiful tackle store we put together. So it's real nice. Everything's starting to come together in that whole basin.
Still free parking?
Free parking.
That's still amazing, right, in today's day and age. So what's running out of 22nd Street now? Are you running Catalina Island?
Well, we have a regular schedule. The Native Sun was a new addition last year. It was at Berth 55. And actually, we're part of San Pedro Bay Company, and that acquired the Native Sun. So that boat will be running at 7. We have the Pursuit, which has been running for years and years and years. That was one of our boats we originally brought in. That's the standard 6 a.m. full-day Catalina. He does Catalina, but like last year, a lot of offshore fishing with the tuna around and the yellows on kelps. And then we have the Monte Carlo, which was mine and Paul's first boat. And that's been there now for how many years? Since 88, Paul?
88, we brought it down from Ventura,
Yeah, so it's been there since 88, so it's been there quite a while. And then we have, of course, the Freedom, which I'm part of with Jeff Jessup and John Woodrum, who owns also the Pursuit, and we've done a lot of improvements on that boat.
Oh, you completely redid the boat.
And that boat had a banner year, local fishing with, I call it local, local overnight.
Right.
With the Yellowfin Tuna. I mean, there was a lot of Yellowfin Tuna right up against Clemente, so there was days we're fishing a mile from Clemente and catching,
whacking the Yellowfin Tuna.
100-plus Yellowfin Tuna.
Are they doing the day-and-a-half run to the Cortez right now?
We are doing maintenance right now.
We're
doing some improvements on the boat. We had to really put a new anchor winch on. It was well overdue. And throwing some paint on the boat. We just had the boat out of the water, both shafts out of the boat, new packings. We're putting another radar on the boat, new plotter. We're doing a lot of improvements, getting it ready because we anticipate a long season, so we want to make sure
we're run all the way
ready
through
to go.
Yeah.
Good
going
for
to be
you
a good
guys.
one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you today. The captains of the Independence talking long-range fishing. Then we can talk local fishing, too, out of 22nd Street.
Calico bass to cow tuna. It's covered today for sure. And we're going to be having a great time. We'd love to have you be a part of the show this morning. Lots of great information and such a rare opportunity to have all three of the guys in the studio here today. It's going to be a great time. And if you want to join us, we would love to hear from you. 2 ways you can reach us on Let's Talk Hookup this morning. First is with our local line, and that's what I try right now because there's 2 spots open on that local line. It's 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. 1090. That's our local number. We do have one toll-free line still open. That's 877-792-1090. One more time, 877-792-1090. Not only going to be talking to Mark, talking to Paul, talking to Jeff, we have got a really cool prize for one lucky caller at the end of the show today, and that is a brand new pair of Maui Jim sunglasses. Really nice pair of glasses. This is the longboard frame, which is another one of the newer, the newer fishing style glasses. It's a really nice pair of glasses. The longboard. It's a gloss black frame with the Maui HT lens. Pete, I know is your favorite.
The ultimate lens.
Really cool pair of sunglasses from Maui Jim. Going to one lucky caller. We sure want to thank Maui Jim for that awesome pair of shades. Again, 858-457-1090 open right now, or 877-792-1090. When we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. Lots of great fishing information coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
The ultimate one-stop shop for everything you need for a great day on the water is Dana Landing in Mission Bay. Dana Landing has the best in six-pack fishing, featuring several boats, including the new Double Down, perfect for 2 to 4 anglers, and the Impulse that will carry up to 6 anglers in comfort and style. Dana Landing has a huge tackle shop with everything you need to go fish bay bass, tuna, or marlin, plus expert anglers on staff to help. They even have Mexican and California fishing licenses. The deli at Dana Landing is a local's favorite with legendary sandwiches, salads, and more, plus all the ice and beverages you need. When it comes to freshwater tackle, East County Bait and Tackle is the spot for everything you need for a great day on the lake. The ultimate in rods and reels, the latest freshwater lures, and live bait. ECBT has a staff second to none when it comes to giving great advice and sharing their passion for fishing. East County Bait and Tackle is at the end of the 67th Freeway on Mapleview in Lakeside, and Dana Landing is right across from SeaWorld next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check DanaLanding.com for more details.
If you are ready to experience a real Alaska fishing adventure, check out Whalers Cove Lodge in Angoon, Alaska. The calm waters around Whalers Cove are 100 miles from any large towns, so you will enjoy a wilderness adventure without any crowds. Whalers Cove Lodge has some of the best salt and freshwater fishing in Alaska, and there is no need for a bumpy boat ride for hours. You can find productive fishing for salmon, halibut, and rockfish just 10 minutes from the lodge. Whalers Cove also offers fantastic freshwater fishing in wilderness streams for wild salmon and trout. The Whalers Cove experience will fulfill your wildest Alaska dreams on the calm water of the Inside Passage or on a spectacular stream. It's your choice every day at the Whalers Cove Lodge. After fishing, you will dine on fabulous meals created daily by the Whalers Cove chefs and relax in your comfortable room or cabin. Learn more about this exciting Alaska destination on their website at WhalersCoveLodge.com or call 800-423-3123. Whalers Cove Lodge, a real Alaskan fishing adventure.
Doing business with the right company always pays off, and Jobsite Supply is that kind of company, selling commercial contractor supplies since 1987. Jobsite Supply specializes in the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades with lines like Louisville Ladders. Come see the full line of Louisville Ladders at Jobsite Supply. Plus, they have the exclusive logo lock system in-house, which allows them to take your company name and logo and embed it permanently into the fiberglass to deter theft and keep track of your ladders. Check JobsiteSupplyCo.com for more details.
It's time to talk about great reels from Shimano, and I got to tell you, Fred Hall is a big deal because they're introducing the new Shimano Torium HG. It's going to be here. It's a fantastic reel. And what's so good about the Shimano Torium HG? You've seen it, Rick. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they did the same. They gave Torium the same treatment as Trinidad, basically taking a great reel and making it better. It's a one-piece frame.
Smaller, compact body.
That's the big thing, yeah.
Lighter weight.
It fits in your hand better, more line capacity.
Has the EI surface treatment, so it's going to last. And it has 700 times the corrosion resistance of the previous model.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that?
Yeah,
700 times. So you know it's going to last. And the thing about Torium, always been a price point thing for Shimano, and it's going to stay that way. It's going to be a superior reel at a great price, and it's going to be one you want to own. And you'll be able to check it out at the Fred Hall show in the Shimano booth and the local dealers at the show, the new Shimano Torium HG. It's here. You at Shimano.
If you're into the water, I mean getting out and going fishing, diving, surfing, shark diving, or kayaking, you need to check out the Islander at islander-charters.com. The Islander is San Diego's leader when it comes to 2 to 5 day fishing. In addition, the Islander offers kayak mothership trips, spearfishing trips, and more. Watch the website for trips and adventures available. You won't find a more knowledgeable or well-rounded team than Captain Shane Slaughter, John Conniff, and crew. Experience the Islander difference. Visit islander-charters.com for all the details.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here, along with Rock Cod Rick, and we have the captains of the Independents, Mark Pisano, Paul Strasser, and Jeff DuBois, talking independent sport fishing. And you were mentioning, Mark, that there's spots on spring trips I'm looking at independentsportfishing.com. I linked that right through the Let's Talk Hookup website. And I see spots on an 8-day in May, end of May. Man, that could be good, huh, Jeff?
I can only imagine, Pete.
Oh,
definitely,
boy.
All the signs are there.
There's spots on an 8-day in the beginning of June. You have spots on a 4-day trip, believe it or not, at the end of June. I mean, amazing. Because you guys are popular. Things happen with you guys, and things book up pretty quickly. So it's nice because you can book right online there, right?
Yeah, you can book online, and the reason there's we have a new trip this year. Dennis Evans, the Tunaholics we call them, they do a 10-day every year, and they put together an 8-day, but we're not really getting too many biters on it. It's only 6 or 7 guys, and we're going to give that a little longer. I'm going to talk to Dennis, but we may turn that into some shorter trips. If we can get more people interested in that trip, but. If you look at our spring, the 8 days are pretty loaded up.
Yeah, they are.
6-day, that 4-day, which comes back the day before 4th of July, which is night, comes back on the 3rd, which is a great trip with the warm water conditions this year, especially if guys want to get out and catch fish for
that's gonna be a good
4th of July barbecue or something like that.
Yeah.
That's an awesome trip. That will fill up. I guarantee that. There's 16 openings on it now, but that trip every year sells out, those short trips. And then we have, a day and a half this year, which we hadn't had in the past. And there's 9 spots left on that. And a 5-day, we have 3 spots left. So
the 4th of July, day and a half, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that's a little different. This year it's actually, let me see here. That one is fishing on the 4th, gets back on the 5th.
On the 5th.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a cool way
nice
to spend your 4th of July.
Heck yeah. Especially because it's a weekend, too.
Perfect.
Yeah, 4th of July weekend's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that's going to be fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, phones are packed. They want to talk to you. You want to get through, have a chance to talk to the guys, win a pair of Maui Jim sunglasses, 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. Open right now.
You got it, man. Why don't we start it off this morning with Cliff, who's calling us from Lakewood. Cliff, good morning. Thanks for getting us started here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Morning, Cliff. Cliff?
We probably need to bring
Good morning.
those phones up.
Yeah.
So.
Hello?
There we go. Hi, Cliff. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? Happy Valentine's, guys. And yesterday I was fishing the Pot of Gold Derby, and we pulled up to San Pedro Bay Dock, and boy, this big old boat there was in our way.
You should have said something, Cliff. I was on that big old boat.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I was on there. I was the one with the mask on and the fast knuckle shirt on there. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun there. We got a nice big halibut that day and did really good. But, boy, the bait you guys got there is so nice and slimy and got max and perfect size max, perfect size jeans. Everything's just really great down there at that bait dock. I love it.
No, thank you, Cliff. We appreciate it. We are, me and Mark, we are hauling bait, and looks like another good bait year, I hope.
Yeah, and you're saying sardines are starting to come back.
Sardines, yeah, we had a good school of sardines we brought in, 2 days ago for that barge. But we're just getting the Newport barge ready because that's going to be another good hit down in Newport also.
So you guys are also running Newport bait now, too?
Yeah, we have Newport operation in San Pedro.
And San Pedro, yeah. And boy, the bait hauling operation you guys do is just amazing.
Well, it all starts at the bait.
Yeah.
You have good bait, you have good fishing. We hope,
Yeah, so.
It's important.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cliff.
All right, Cliff, thanks a lot for the phone call. That does free up 877-792-1090. Open right now. When he says he has a mask on, I can only imagine what Cliff might be wearing, huh? One of those, Mexican wrestling matches, the lucha libre, or something like that. I don't know.
My money's on a sun mask.
A sun mask,
but
okay,
you never know.
Sun mask?
Yeah, that's what I'm
okay,
trying to
there you go. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into the phone.
You got to. If you want to get through a great opportunity, talk to the boys again. 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. Your chance to get your questions answered and have your shot at a brand new pair of Maui Jim sunglasses. Let's talk to Bruce from Lemon Grove this morning. Hi, Bruce. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning,
Bruce.
Hey, when you're on the longer trips, captains, what size rods do you guys prefer? I use a 765H graphiter, but it's kind of light. I was thinking about going up to something else.
Definitely bring that 765XH. The CalStar 700 series, I believe they're 6.5 to 8 foot. I could be wrong. On a trip 3 days or longer, you can really, 3 to 7 days, you could probably get by with 4 rods, really. And
3 to 7 days. So what would be the 4?
I would bring some 25, some 40, 50, and an 80-pound rod for, say, dropper loop, something like that.
Okay.
And you'd be covered there.
Yeah. And what about for big tuna? What about if you're going on one of your 16-day trips?
16-day, that's a little different story there. Again, the CalStar have the 700XXXH.
Yeah, 770, right?
770, excuse me.
Triple XH.
Triple XH. Seeker has the 2x4, the 3x5 series. Phoenix now, they make an outstanding product as well. I don't have the model numbers in my head for Phoenix. It's just a whole different ball game down below there in the big fish. So we fish mainly 100 and 130 pound line down there. Say for
usually nothing less.
Usually nothing less. There are times when a guy might use some 80 pound down there for the tuna.
Yeah.
And then the Wahoo gear is a whole different story.
The rail rod thing certainly has changed. When you look at gear from 10 years ago, how you would catch a 200-pounder to now, is the 7-foot rod a benefit across the board, or there's some pros and cons to the bigger fish rod? I mean, you guys see, everything put to action every day. I mean, if a guy was shopping for a big fish rod, CalStar, a perfect example, like Bruce was just saying. They make big fish rods from 5.5 to 6 to 6.5 to 7, and even 7.5 foot rods now. Is there too long? I mean, what's the pro and con for a guy, would you say, that's shopping for a big fish rod right now?
The longer rods are the way to go. Those 7.5 foot now. There's way more clearance for say the chine, the bottom of the boat when they're circling close.
And that's the key for the long rod, right?
It really is. The shorter rods, it just puts you in an awkward position if you're going to use the rail, and obviously in a harness as well. Your line's going to be touching the bottom of the boat there, and the rods they make now, the lifting power on them is just something it's so good now that the products they make, the rods, the reels, and the technique now. Using the rail or a harness, I would say the 7-footer, 7.5. It's definitely the way to go.
That's one of the keys in rod selection, is making sure that rod's not going to bottom out, right? That it has the lifting power when you're pulling on a big fish.
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely, and they make a rod for every physique. Some guys, not everyone's 6'2", 240 pounds. Some of these. Even the ladies, there are a lot of ladies that fish now, and they're landing these great big giant fish on tackle, more or less, not custom made, but they've chosen the right model, the right length, something that's going to work for them, not against them.
Okay,
that's cool.
All right, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. That does free up. 858-457-1090, open right now.
All right, let's talk to Doug, who's gone to some Montebello this morning. Good morning, Doug. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Yeah, for any of the captains. How many anchors will you both lose in 1 year, for whatever reason?
That's a good question.
I would say
hopefully none.
Hopefully zero.
None.
Maybe a better question: how much ground tag do you guys carry on a boat like the Independence? But like
4 sets.
4 sets.
4 different sets.
Usually we have, we
Sure.
have 4 anchors, and then we have usually,
Three sets of chain, 4 anchors. Hopefully your anchor line doesn't get sawed off.
Because it happens, right?
It happens.
Yeah.
It
It's not
happens.
a good phone call you got to make when that happens, huh?
When I got to call Mark or Paul and say, hey, have a barrel of chain or 2 and a couple of anchors ready, that's not a phone call I like to make.
Indeed.
But like you say, things happen. You're set. Where is it that you guys fish? Obviously, for 1,000 miles up and down the coast. Where are the places where you kind of cringe dropping the anchor? Are there like areas that you fish where like, oh man, this is a sticky bottom here?
Well, it's volcanic too. Everything's volcanic.
Yeah, we fish structure.
Yeah.
We're rarely fishing in the mud. I mean, maybe around Cedros.
Yeah.
But we're structure fishing. I would say top of the list is probably Hurricane Bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snagging your gear on certain parts of that bank there. And at times, we may drop the anchor. We may not even pull the anchor for 2 or 3, 4 days. And when it blows 20, 25 knots sometimes, your gear is so dug in to that bank.
Sure.
And a lot of times you don't get it back. Mm-hmm. And you just, we're not going to get it back. Other than that, Alejos rocks. I lost a lot of gear out of Alejos.
Yeah.
Put a few anchors on the bottom down there.
Yeah, Alejos. And there's, again, you learn over the years, don't drop it here.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of that stuff, Hurricane and Alejos are because there's a lot of commercial gear on the bottom, right? There's a lot of big wires and stuff from guys trying to set nets and stuff like that.
Yeah, Pete, I would say more at Hurricane Bank. There's gear on the banks. There's a couple of banks below Alejos 10 miles.
Yeah.
There's commercial gear there, but Hurricane Bank is absolutely loaded with it. And sometimes you snag up in that, a cable, chain.
Yeah, and you're done.
The mesh will usually rip off, and you can get your gear back. But you snag a cable or a chain there, and again, there's no getting your gear back.
And on another note too, you remember we have 200 feet of chain, and you're fishing these ledges. Ooh. A lot of times, the ledge and the rope chafe.
Oh,
so
sure.
It's not always about if your anchor is stuck to something.
Yeah.
A lot of times your chain, and a lot of times your rope gets chafed. We never even had a chance. You start to pull, next thing you know, we lose it. You bring it up, and the rope is just mangled. It's frayed. So, there's a lot to lose an anchor.
200 feet of chain.
200 feet of chain, and then you have 180-pound anchor, and then you got 1,200 feet of 1.25-inch rope.
Wow.
Just think about that all that lives on the boat, too. Several sets of that is crazy.
Yeah, and go down to your local marine store and see and price that out. Right? Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. It's we don't like talking about that, but it's part of the job, right?
Totally.
Part of the yield.
$2,500.
$4,500.
$2,500.
Or $2,500.
So you figure it's on a 7-day trip, it's like a passenger's fare. If you lose one set of gear, you lose one passenger's fare.
Your profits.
You guys have been fishing a long time. Have you ever had one of those days or one of those trips where where you've lost several sets in one trip, or when is there a nightmare scenario where it's like, oh my gosh, we lost another one?
2 in one day.
2 in one day.
Oh. No bueno.
Yeah, and one of them was we just kind of came tight on the anchor at Alejos, and I dropped it in an area where it was one of those steep drop-offs. We just came tight on the anchor. We started getting a few fish. The next thing you know, we're sideways, and I knew exactly what happened.
Just got chopped off.
Just chafed right off.
Wow. And amazing.
That's crazy.
Some good stories.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, hey, speaking of good stories, it's time to find out what's biting down in the Baja right now. The AR Catch Report with Cast Tours, sponsored by Gamakatsu Hooks, Japan's leading fish hook that sets the standard for quality and innovation and strength and durability. Hey, the big fish season is here, and that Gamakatsu Super Nautilus Circle Hook is the one that's putting the big fish on the deck. It has the strength and durability to help you catch your fish of a lifetime. Get Gamakatsu Super Nautilus hooks at your favorite tackle store, and look out for a great deal on Gamakatsu hooks at the Long Beach Fred Hall Show. Some really good specials coming
deals,
this year.
Like buy two, get one free.
Exactly. A lot of freebies, discounted prices on the hooks, and free packs, things like that. It's going to be a really good year to stock up on Gamakatsu at the Fred Hall Show. And speaking of the Fred Hall Show, it's coming right up. And the man, Richard Castaneda from Cast Tours, I know is going to be there. What's up, Cast Man?
Yeah, Ricky, you're absolutely right, man. I'm telling you, I'm getting my gear together for the Pesca trip next weekend, and I'm thinking, geez, I get back on the following weekend, and that coming Wednesday is the show of shows, the Fred Hall Long Beach show, which is the biggest show on the West Coast, and I'm just getting excited, and I realize I've got to get a lot of stuff done between now and before I leave, because I don't have much time when I get back. But yeah, we're anxious, we're set up, we're ready to go, and of course I've got my gear together, and I just could not believe when I was cleaning my garage out, getting stuff together, how much stuff I have that I've collected throughout the years, and I'm going to have to do something with it. So I was going to give Pete a call this week and see if there's some kind of an organization that can use a lot of my old stuff that's still good stuff,
Friends of Rollo.
Yeah, that's good. I'll have to contact them to see if they can use it. But yeah, that's a good place for it to go. But Pete, the fishing in Cabo San Lucas, it's okay. It's not stellar. It's not bad. It's just right in the middle there. A lot of striped marlin in the water, a lot of tailors, a lot of feeders. They're just not biting whatever the fisherman is putting out there. I mean, they're probably averaging about half a billfish per boat per day. There's still some dorado in the area, nothing really big. Most of the stuff is kind of on the small side, 10 to 15 pounds. Of course, this time of year, along the beaches, there are a lot of Sierras, and they've been getting some nice Sierras running, 8 to 10 pounds. And to me, that's probably one of the most tastiest fish around. I even prefer it better than the wahoo. As far as Yellowfin Tuna goes, up at the Gordo Bank there, the inner Gordo, still getting some nice fish, 15 to 30 pounds. And water temperature right now in Cabo is running about 76 degrees. So it's some pretty warm water. That's what's keeping those tuna there. So some pretty good fishing going on for those Ponga fleets out of San Jose del Cabo. Of course, our number one spot, Zihuatanejo, a short 3-hour nonstop flight from L.A. You're there. 88-degree temperature during the day. Water temperature is running 82, 83 degrees. And the fish have moved out now from the harbor. They're out of 15 miles. And just like the report said from there, is that it seems like somebody puts on a switch at 11 o'clock in the morning, and those fish go off on a bite. And it's really a good billfish bite. Lots and lots of sails, a few blue marlin mixed in, a few dorado mixed in, a little bitter quality dorado there. Anywhere fish up to 30, 35 pounds. And then along the beaches, of course, it's roosters and jacks and more Sierras. So some really good fishing and great weather down there at this time of year. Pete, that's a report for this week. Look forward to seeing your smiling face next Friday or next Saturday there at Pescapano. I'm going in a day early.
Are you going in? So are you going to do a report next Saturday from Panama?
I'm going to try to give a call there.
Okay.
Saturday morning. Give a call and see what's going on. Hopefully I get some great reports when I'm down there.
All right. Well, Castman, we'll see you in Panama next Saturday, and we'll talk to you next Saturday right here on Let's Talk Hookup Live from Panama City, Panama. And if we want to get a hold of Cast Tours, how do we do that?
Give us a call at 800-593-6510 or check us out on the web at www.casttours.com and looking forward for the Pesca trip. Get those arms ready, Pete.
They're ready. Well, we'll see. Thanks a lot, Cass. Talk to you next week.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. Again, if you want to get through, been a very busy morning, a perfect shot right now. 2 open phone lines, 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. Your chance to win a brand new pair of Maui Gyms when we come back with Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
Want to catch the yellowfin tuna of a lifetime but don't have weeks at a time to commit trying? Then check out Journeyman Sport Fishing in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Based in Nuevo Vallarta, Journeyman offers an angling dream come true. Outstanding world-class fishery, immaculately maintained and outfitted boat, ultra-limited competition at the rail, and a Journeyman crew that has the experience and passion to make your angling dreams reality. A 2.5-day trip offers 2 full days of fishing from sunup to sundown and only requires 4 days away from your other commitments. In the 2013 season, Journeyman landed dozens of yellowfin over 200 pounds and several over 300. Choose the trip that fits your schedule. 2.5, 3.5, up to 8 days of the ultimate fishing for giant yellowfin tuna. For complete details, check the web at journeymansportfishing.com or contact 619-571-1979. Journeyman Sport Fishing, where angling dreams become reality.
It's Fred Hall showtime. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Landing Tackle. Be sure to stop by the Fisherman's Landing Tackle booth. The best selection of saltwater tackle at the show, including a complete selection of Cousins tackle and rods. No one has a better selection of Cousins tackle saltwater rods than Fisherman's Landing Tackle. A must visit at this year's Fred Hall Show. Fisherman's Landing has been the choice of sport fishing anglers for decades, with the largest fleet of long-range boats worldwide, complemented by Southern California's finest charter and open party fleet. Now is the time to book your long-range trips and charters, plus half-day trips aboard the Dolphin. Go to fishermanslanding.com and see trip availability, and even book your trip online. Stop by or call Fisherman's Landing in San Diego and book now at fishermanslanding.com.
Hi, I'm Bart Hall, and I've got great news. The most powerful and critically acclaimed national Anglers' Rights Organization is coming to California. The Coastal Conservation Association works to conserve marine resources and anglers' access to them. CCA Cal is just beginning. If you join us at the Fred Hall shows, you'll get into the show for free, receive vouchers worth over $150, and be entered into drawings worth thousands of dollars. It's the right thing to do, and it's a great value. Come join us at the Fred Hall show March 4th through the 8th at the Long Beach Convention Center. Protect California fishing.
It's time to talk about a great spot in Point Loma, and it's called Point Loma Seafood. I know, as a matter of fact, I was there the other day, and there was Rock Cod Rick.
Yeah, right behind you.
Yeah, right behind me in line there. And I tell you what, this time of the year, I always get a kind of a hankering for white sea bass.
Oh.
You can't catch. I mean, it's hard to catch for this time of the year, but you can catch it right there
It's never
at
hard
Point Loma Seafood.
It's never hard to catch it at Point Loma Seafood.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things right now at Point Loma Seafood is a fresh, live Dungeness crab. They have the tanks. They're live. They cook them for you. They crack them for you, and you take them home. And
you're a hero.
I'm telling you what. Valentine's Day today.
Yep.
Don't buy them all because I'm going to get some. But live Dungeness crab down there. You talk about a treat for Valentine's Day. All the stuff right there at Point Loma Seafood is going to be a treat.
That's it. You want to make the boys happy at the shop. You should see us every Sunday afternoon with a bag of fresh Point Loma Seafood chips, some ceviche, some smoked fish. It's a Sunday ritual at the tackle store.
There you go. Check it out. Perfect day, Valentine's Day today. Point Loma Seafoods right next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma.
XEPRS 1090 AM Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Padres.
Two-run home run, Kemp again.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090. Phone lines are packing up. If you want to get through, the only line still open, that local number, 858-457-1090. Your chance to talk to the boys from the Independence.
All right, you just heard Bart Hall talking about CCA California, the new organization that's going to be introduced at the Fred Hall Long Beach show. And tomorrow on Let's Talk Hookup, we have a big show.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be a great show. We're going to have some amazing guests here in the studio. Bill Shedd, who's going to actually be fresh back from the Miami Boat Show, which is going on this weekend. The biggest boat show in the world is happening right now in Miami. Don Trojan's going to be here in the studio.
Awesome.
And we're going to have quite a lineup that would include Dave Pfeiffer from Shimano, Bart Hall, Bob Fletcher. We're going to have the national president of CCA aboard, Dave Bacon, Harold Davis. Just a number of great people that are involved and on the board of directors, including myself, for CCA, and tell you about why you should be a part of CCA, and also tell you about the amazing deal they have.
Yeah.
That when you come to the Fred Hall show, you get in the Fred Hall show for free, and you get all this free stuff by joining CCA, which is something that every angler should do. Anyway, so tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on the Mighty 1090. You don't want to miss that show.
All right, well, the phone lines are packed up. I know everybody's excited to talk to the captains. Why don't we jump back into the phones and talk to Kenny, who's calling us from Hawaiian Gardens this morning. Kenny, good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, we've been listening to these reports from the Cortez tanks on these day-and-a-half trips and stuff like that. And a lot of the, up here in Orange County and stuff, a lot of the boats, from what I'm hearing and what I've seen, don't have like a RSW or anything. And it's just kind of holding us back from going. We hate to see these fish sitting stacks and stuff. How's your boats over here in Long Beach doing? Or how do they take care of their catch?
I have your answer. On the Freedom, we do have RSW.
Fantastic.
And we run overnight trips from 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. I cannot speak for any of the Long Beach boats. I'm not sure, but the RSW that we have on the Freedom really works well, and it keeps the fish very nice. And
you guys just did that.
Well, no, it's been on the boat. We kind of redid it a little bit to bring it. We like to keep it about 30 degrees. So we made a few modifications. It holds the temp a little better, and it works really well. And Jeff, who runs the boat most of the time, is really anal about keeping that system working top notch all the time.
So when the boat gets out of maintenance, the Freedom, are they possibly going to get on a run for the Cortez if it's still biting?
Yeah, if it's still biting, I mean, with all the reports of the amount of yellowtail at Clemente, we're getting some reports at Clemente. There's just a tremendous volume of yellowtail there, and really no one's fished it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys getting their boats ready. Everybody had long seasons, so they've needed to do some work on their boats. And there's really tremendous reports at Santa Barbara, Catalina. There's been fish there, so we're going to do something here come March. We're going to be ready here next month to start running full time. So,
just going back to the RSW thing, you said that you like to maintain a 30-degree temperature. Is that a really important part of the fish RSW thing? Is maintaining a specific temperature, keeping it that way, and does it require a lot of maintenance on you or whoever's the engineer of the boat? Is there a lot of upkeep to making sure it stays that way?
Not really once it's dialed in, but I mean, most of the time you don't want to really get the fish below about 28 degrees or so. Like 29 is about the lower end of things, and then 31's about the cutoff. So the system will cut in and out between 29 and 31 degrees. Fish will actually start to crystallize along the spine around 27.
Wow, you guys got it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you guys shrug that off like it's not that big of a deal. Man, that's a 1 degree difference on keeping fish that came out of a hot water and they're hot, and you're putting fish into that tank. I mean, that's seems like a pretty fine line.
Yeah, in our systems we have now, you could punch in whatever your difference, whether it be a 2 degree difference. You punch in at 30 degrees, it turns on at 31 and brings it down to 29. Then shuts off automatically. It keeps it right there at 1 or 2 degrees, and that makes a big difference.
I'm sure.
You've got to be 1 degree difference is a lot.
And Jeff, on the Independence, I know you guys monitor those fish wells like probably as much as you're monitoring the wheel up top, right?
Oh, we do, Pete. It's a very important part of the trip is that our passengers go home with the highest quality fish that we can provide for them. And it's all about really paying attention and maintaining your refrigeration systems. And we take great pride in it. When they get off the boat and the fish processors absolutely rave, like, my gosh, you guys' fish just comes off the boat in the best condition. And it's very satisfying for us, Mark, Paul, myself, knowing that we've provided the best service in that capacity there. So
that's cool.
It's a big job, man, being the captain on a long-range boat, because not only you have to run the boat, not only you have to catch the fish, not only do you have to make sure the bait's good, make sure the passengers are safe, make sure they're happy, make sure everything's good. You got to make sure that fish is good too, right?
No, absolutely. And you hear about a disaster here and there, and we had one disaster. I think it was one of our first trips we ever ran on the boat, and it was kind of a bummer. We had a bunch of albacore that didn't turn out very well our first year there, but since then it's dialed in, and it's pretty well maintained within the fleet that you're going to come home with a very good product.
Yeah, and like Paul said, you've got monitors in the wells that keep it that way, right?
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, interesting.
That's cool.
All right, thanks a lot for the call this morning.
All right, how about we jump right back into the phones and talk to Charlie, who's called us from Redondo Beach this morning. Charlie, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Pete, Rick, and the Indy boys. Hey, guys, could you touch on the tackle requirements for a first-timer on an 8-day, and can you rent gear from the boat for the bluefin?
Well, to start off with on the rental gear, we have loaner gear, which we do not charge for. All we charge you for is the line. So, $8 for whatever it is, $6 or $8 for a line fill. A spring trip, you're going to use a lot of 30 and 40 pound. 30 pound and 40 pound being good for both yellowtail and tuna. You may use some heavier stuff for dropper looping yellowtail, especially at like Lejos Rocks. But I would say for the most part, your 40 on a lot of our 7-day trips, your 40 pound is your go-to outfit. So you want to have a good 2-speed reel, which all of our loaner gear is a vet 2 speeds. and we carry seeker rods on the boats matched up with those avets. So you're going to have good loaner gear if you don't have your own gear.
So no matter what length of trip you're on, if you don't have the gear, you guys provide it as part of the service just for free?
Yeah, we have about 8 or 9 sets of gear, full sets. So It's not enough for everybody, but normally it isn't. Most guys have their own gear,
right,
or they may need one rod to kind of supplement what they have, or 2 rods.
So just call Judy in the office, reserve the gear.
Exactly.
And you're covered.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically what happens, Pete, is after we do our tackle seminar on the boat, most of the guys who need a rod or two, they bring us the gear they brought on the boat, and then we'll just piece it in. We'll fill it in, whatever they need there for what we're doing that particular trip, because it does change.
You take a look.
Not every trip is the same.
You got all your bait gear covered. Maybe you need a 50-pound rig or something heavy, and you can just add add whatever a guy might be missing.
Exactly, and it could be that one rig,
sure,
specialized rig that we've been using, real recent, and the guy doesn't have it. And we set him up, and he does well, and makes his trip.
Not untypical for a guy to come and say, "Oh, geez, I just need this one outfit," and you can cover it for him.
We have it covered, with the exception of maybe a 9-footer. We don't have too many of those.
Well, I know Charlie was talking about 8-day trips. What about the real long ones? If a guy was wanting to do the big tuna thing, I know we see that in the shop a lot of times. The trip is a big investment, but what scares some people off is the equipment is the same way too, and it's not easy to. I mean, you're spending often upwards of $1,000 on a cow tuna type rig, and it's hard. It's hard because that might be a rig that you only fish one time a year, so it's sometimes not easy to plunk that down. Big tuna thing the same way. Is there gear available for a guy?
It is, Rick. It's totally available, and anywhere from the smaller 2 speeds, everyone's going smaller now, short top shot. We have that covered, as well as all the way up to like a 130-pound outfit.
Wow, okay.
We have all the Wahoo gear. If a guy was kind of hesitant on coming on a longer trip because he does not have all the gear, I would not sweat it.
That's cool.
And I speak for the independents and most of the other boats.
And you have the terminal tackle too. Like you don't. Basically, you come on, bring your clothes, and you're set.
No, you are set. And the worst thing is watching a guy load his gear on the boat, and then in the next few days, he starts breaking out his tackle that he bought, and he's bought all the wrong gear that somebody talked him into, like terminal tackle.
Right.
And it's stuff.
Or he bought it on the web, and somebody didn't know. And
exactly. He took somebody's word for it.
Store.
And we have all the right gear on the boat, and you can purchase it on the boat less than probably on shore. So
there you go.
Yeah, you're set on the boat.
Bring
way.
your clothes, your towel, and your personal items, and
your appetite.
And your appetite, right? That's a food. So good. Indeed. Hey, so now, Charlie, no excuse. Got to sign up for that trip. All right. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. I want to remind you, this week's edition of Western Outdoor News loaded with great information. I know they have the big Fred Hall encyclopedia coming out here in the next couple of weeks. They're getting geared up for that. But this week's a great one. A lot of bluefin tuna on the cover of Western Outdoor News this week, and a lot of information about that amazing bite on the yellowtail and the bluefin, and then also an interesting perspective on the Sierra storms and the trout fishing this summer. If it's low water, if we don't get any more storms, what's going to happen up there?
Sure.
Right now, fishing's really good, but what's going to happen in summer? An interesting perspective, along with a lot of other great stuff. Check it out, this week's edition of Western Outdoor News.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more great information. We got catch reports coming. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
Hi, I'm Bart Hall, and I've got an important announcement for all California anglers. The 37-year-old Coastal Conservation Association is coming to California. The CCA is an organization of over 100,000 recreational anglers and outdoor enthusiasts currently spread across 17 states that works to conserve marine resources and anglers' access to them. The CCA has proven time and again that anglers are the best stewards of the marine environment. Across the nation, they have been very successful in protecting the interests of recreational anglers and their access to the resources they cherish. CCA Cal is just beginning. If you join us at the Fred Hall shows, you'll get into the show for free, receive vouchers worth over $150 $150 and be entered into drawings worth thousands of dollars. It's the right thing to do, and it's a great value. California anglers need CCA Cal to help us protect our fishing rights and our access to fish. Come and join us at the Fred Hall Show March 4th to the 8th at the Long Beach Convention Center. Help CCA Cal protect California fishing.
Let's talk candidly about long-range fishing. This is Captain Frank Lepresti of the Royal Polaris and the Shogun. Nowhere on Earth will you find a fleet of long-range boats like we have in San Diego. We are fortunate to have several top-notch operations to take you to the most productive fishing grounds in the world. We all offer good food, comfortable staterooms, huge bait capacity, and top-of-the-line fish-finding electronics. So why would you choose the Royal Polaris or the Shogun for your next long-range trip? What sets us apart from the rest? It's pretty simple. The boats, the crew, and the service. From the moment you arrive at Fisherman's Landing, the service begins. We help you load your gear and do everything possible to get beginners or seasoned veterans ready to catch fish. When it's time to fish, the Royal Polaris and the Shogun have the edge there too, delivering the two best fishing platforms in the fleet. But don't take my word for it. Come fishing with us. If you want the best, it's Royal Polaris and the Shogun. For more information, call 619-226-8030 or on the web at royalpolarissportfishing.com or shogunsportfishing.com.
It's time to get excited about fishing, and Point Loma Sport Fishing has everything you'll need. They offer half-day and three-quarter-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit their website at pointlomasportfishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Aztecs.
What's that slam dunk? That's what I'm talking about.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Good morning. Gen-Ren boats are the most requested on the East Cape because of our unparalleled service. From novice fishermen and children to the most seasoned veteran, Gen-Ren crews are sensitive to anglers' needs. Our immaculately maintained twin-engine cruisers are fully equipped with accurate reels, CalStar rods, and Sibrod electronics. For fishing packages, weekly fish reports, and 2 live webcams, check out TeamGenRen.com. We pick up at all East Cape resorts and will provide a fishing experience that will exceed your expectations.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For over 20 years, AFCO has been known for its traditional fishing shorts. We now will also be known for our new line of next-generation fishing and board shorts. Our new M82 tactical fishing shorts feature quick-dry, high-tech, two-way stretch fabric, zipper fly, 6 functional pockets plus pliers pocket, sublimated camo print, and our DWR finish so your shorts don't get stained. Also new to the AFCO line are the M25 Stingray board shorts. The Stingray board shorts feature new, quick-dry, 4-way mind-stretch fabric, modern zipper fly, 2 technical, high-cargo pockets with inverted zippers, silicone-printed draw cords, along with our DWR finish to repel stains. Both shorts are new to the AFCO line and come in a variety of colors and sizes. These technically advanced fishing and board shorts continue AFCO's long tradition of providing the world's finest fishing and board shorts. Check them out today at better shops everywhere.
The offshore fishing last year was some of the best we've seen in years. Let's hope our luck keeps up in 2015. It's a brand new year, and what better way to kick off a new year than with a new Ford? Once again, Ford is America's favorite brand. Just take a look at last year's sales figures. It's right there in black and white. It's easy to see why Ford is so popular. Styling is contemporary, the technology is state-of-the-art, and the fuel economy is more impressive than ever. Fusion, Focus, and Escape continue to be San Diego favorites, and the new Mustang has the entire city buzzing. You've got to check it out. Right now, you'll find the biggest savings on F-150 pickups. The last of the 2014 models are going fast. And talk about popular, Ford F-Series has been America's best-selling truck and a favorite among fishermen for almost 4 decades. In fact, a new F-Series truck is sold every 43 seconds. Imagine catching a fish every 43 seconds. You'd be popular too. Start the new year in style. Stop by your San Diego County Ford dealer. They'll be glad to hook you up.